And to do that, we already have everything that we need, I believe. So we just need to go to global, and then in our message send, there's some extra code we're going to add up here. So we're going to get the username of the friend that we passed. And some bunch of stuff we're going to do. Clearer. Cool. So we're going to get our friend list. Do a check, make sure that it found a valid index. And also one more thing we're gonna add here. Now this messages username is something we're going to have to add, which we will do now. And we already have everything we need. So we're just going to break out of that if that, if the user name is not equal to the username of the person who's actually logged in right now, or the chat window is open right now. So we're going to add something. We're going to add that here. Messages username is going to be null, and when we open it for the first time, we're going to wipe that as well. And then where we're going to set it is in our messages list. So when we, whenever we get data for the messages list, we're going to say, okay, this data belongs to this user's username. Now, this is going to come in handy later on as well. When we start typing a bubble, we only want the bubble to start popping up or animating when we're, for the user that it's supposed to go to. You know what I mean? Like we need to distinguish between like the bubble signal is being sent for this user or it's for that user. And if we're in that chat, then we can show the bubble. If we're not, then we can't. Username is going to be data.friend.username. Save that. And then refresh. Hopefully we didn't break anything. And then I'm going to go into my chat here. And then I'm going to go into my friend list here. And then it says new connection. Yeah, we've got to update the preview. We'll do that in a minute. But we should see whatever we type here should be updated to there. And so should the time. Hopefully. So type Apple. Yeah, Apple now. So that did what we wanted. That's great. Now the proper preview we want to display. So if I go here, Apple now, so it worked on both. So that works now. But when I refresh, the preview will be incorrect. That's not what we want. So here, it's still grabbing new connection and it's still using this really old time. We don't want that. So we're going to make some interesting changes to fix that preview. And if we go to our serializers, you can see here we've got our new connection. That's what we're going to update now. So get rid of our global, go to our consumers. We're going to go to our friend list, this little one here. We need to add some interesting stuff. So we need to create a query that's going to get the last message. And we're not going to execute the query yet. And I'll show you, we want to use the outer ref and annotate like we did before. So that's how we're going to get the latest text or the latest message attached to this connection along with the timestamp of that latest message or nothing. And then we're going to annotate that data. We're going to annotate our friend serializer. We're going to annotate that, and then we're going to be able to access that data in here in the preview, and also for our updated as well. So we're going to be able to basically, if it's found a preview in the database, we're going to return the preview. But if not, we're going to return this instead. And same, if we return something if we find a latest message, then we're going to return the timestamp of that. If not, we're just going to return the timestamp of the connection itself. And so this is a kind of a interesting query here. So we're going to get the latest message subquery. And then for the latest one, we're just going to do that. And then now we're going to be able to use this when we go annotate, and we're going to say latest underscore text. That's going to be equal to latest message dot values. So it's constructing this query for us. It's not actually running this query yet. It's once connections is fed to serializers, that's where it's going to actually run. Or actually, yeah, once this connections is going to run and it's going to execute all this in turn. It's going to grab the text, so it's telling it that we just want the text from this query. We don't care about any of the other values. And then we also want the latest created. And we want to order by. This is another interesting object we're going to use here. We want to coalesce coalesce and basically turn into one or combine the latest created and the updated. We're going to coalesce those two fields. See, one's in the annotated and one is actually on the model, into one. So basically, if this is nothing, it's going to use this. But if this exists, it's going to use that one. So, and run that as well. Yep. And we need to import coalesce from our Django DB models.functions. Import coalesce. And everything else remains the same. So we need to update our serializer, but before we do that, we'll reload and we'll just make sure we didn't break anything. We probably did. No, that looks pretty, it looks fine to me. Looks, yeah. And then just check this one. Yep, that looks fine. So then we're going to go into our serializer. I'm going to update that here. So the preview, we're just going to say if the object has, or if it doesn't have an attribute, obj called latest text, if it does not have the attribute, it means that it couldn't find it or it didn't have any, it's going to return new connection. That's just what it's going to say. But if it does have that attribute, it's going to return latest text. So we'll save that and then reload it. And then now instead of new connection, it should say whatever the last what's going on here? OBJ, yeah, that should be OBJ, not data. Save that and refresh. Yep, we've got the right preview, but not the right updated, not the right timestamp. So we'll add that now. And we're going to make a new one of these. See, we didn't have any of the stuff we needed before, but now we do. And then we're going to go def get updated. Actually, we're going to just return latest text, and then we will get rid of this for now. I just want to test something first to make sure that that has attribute way of doing things is actually going to work properly. So what we're going to do is come to our admin, go over to our messages, and we're going to select all of them and delete all of the messages. So we're just going to wipe it clean. And then we're going to refresh. And then we're going to load our friend list. Preview is null. Yep, so we didn't need to, so it has the attribute. So we didn't need, didn't need to do that. So basically I'm going to go if obj.latest text, if it's not latest text, then I want to return new connection. Save that, refresh. New connection, sweet. Now we'll keep going with our updated, and we will grab a date. The date will be obj.latest created, or if that's null or nothing, just the connections updated. The connection, yeah. So it's either going to be the latest message or the last time the connection itself was updated, which will be the time that it was accepted. And then we return date. Now this is important. ISO format. So I'm going to do that. And then reload. Yep, still working. Now we're going to send a message. And we'll go to our friend list and watch that happen in real time. And then a new message. Hey. Sweet. So that worked. Now when we reload and it fetches it for the first time, it should have the preview there as well. As it does. How good is that? That works. That's what we wanted.